Ethan Carter had grease under his nails, hope in his eyes, and a future built on sweat and sacrifice. He worked at his uncle's rundown garage in a forgotten corner of Atlanta. His mother had died when he was just 10, and his father left shortly after. Ethan grew up on his own, learning to survive with little but honesty and resilience. Isabella Thompson, on the other hand, lived in a marble mansion with glass elevators and private chefs. Her father, Richard Thompson, was one of the wealthiest men in Georgia, and he never let her forget that love could be bought, just like everything else in their world. Their paths should never have crossed, but fate had a different plan. It was a rainy afternoon when Isabella's Range Rover broke down on I-85. The engine gave up in the middle of nowhere. Frustrated, she called her driver, but there was no signal. She stepped out, heels sinking in the muddy roadside, until a beat-up truck pulled over. Ethan stepped out, wiping his hands with a dirty rag. "Need a hand?" he asked with a grin. She eyed him, unsure, but nodded. In the next 20 minutes, Ethan fixed her engine. He didn't charge her a cent. "You looked like you needed help." "That's enough," he said. She looked at him again, really looked at him. There was something genuine in his tired eyes. She handed him her card. "Isabella Thompson. If you ever need anything, just call." He pocketed it, not expecting to, but he did. Ethan called her a week later. Not for help, but just to say thank you. That one call turned into a conversation, then messages, then late-night phone calls. Soon, Isabella found herself sneaking out of her guarded estate just to sit in Ethan's truck, eating cheap tacos, laughing at silly jokes, and watching the stars, something she had never really done before. Their worlds were different, but in that space between them, they found something real. When her father found out, all hell broke loose. Richard Thompson stormed into the garage one day, threw a stack of $100 bills at Ethan, and said, "Take this and leave my daughter alone." Ethan stared at the money, then back at Richard. "Your daughter's not for sale. And neither is my dignity." Isabella was grounded, her phone confiscated. But she escaped again, this time to tell Ethan they needed to run away. He didn't agree. "I won't let you throw away your future because of me." Tears filled her eyes. "You are my future, Ethan." They decided to part ways for a while, but secretly, Isabella transferred to a public college near Ethan's town under a different name. For months, she lived modestly, working part-time in a bookstore, proving to herself she could live without luxury. When Ethan found out, he was furious, but also proud. They started seeing each other again quietly. Love blossomed stronger than before. But trouble wasn't over. One night, Ethan was arrested for allegedly stealing a car from the garage he worked at. Isabella rushed to the police station, only to discover the arrest had been orchestrated by her father, using his influence. She threatened to go public, to ruin her father's reputation. But before she could act, Richard Thompson suffered a heart attack. At the hospital, Isabella faced him. "You tried to destroy the only person who ever loved me for me. I'm not your puppet anymore." To everyone's surprise, Richard softened, perhaps from the heart scare, perhaps from guilt. He dropped the charges against Ethan and gave his daughter his blessing, but with one warning: "If he ever hurts you, I'll destroy him." 2 years later, Ethan opened his own garage, Carter's Honest Auto. Isabella, now finishing her degree in business, stood proudly beside him. They didn't live in a mansion. Their apartment was small but filled with laughter and love. Isabella once asked Ethan, "If we had never met, would you still believe in happy endings?" Ethan held her close and whispered, "I didn't believe in anything until I met you."